Hey, it's Isa and Chola from the Q Rush Hour, and we are so stoked to be hanging out with a pretty awesome person on Q today. We got, of course, Matt from Cheat Codes. How about a virtual round of applause, everyone?
Yeah. How you
Hey,
doing?
Matt, how have you been?
I'm doing good. Good weather here in LA. We've been traveling. Things are getting busy again, so exciting.
Ooh,
Wow,
that's
that
awesome.
sounds really good.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling, that's something we
Mm-hmm.
can't, still do here or limited here in the Philippines, but it's nice to see that you guys are slowly getting back to normal where you are.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, within the States, we haven't done any like international travel, but yeah, we're gonna be in San Francisco, and we've kind of been all over the US now. So
That's awesome. But hey, how is the pandemic the past few year and a half? Any new skills that you unlocked, Matt?
yeah, that's a good question. It was kind of weird in the beginning because we're so used to traveling, like doing shows every weekend, but we kind of just decided to be productive and work on this album. We've been wanting to
Yeah.
do a debut album for a long time, so we're like, we can't go anywhere, so let's just make music all day, every day. And
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to do, a debut album, and we turned that into a three-part album. So we're like, we have way more music than we thought we were gonna have originally. So yeah, that was kind of it. I mean, definitely a lot of like Netflix and chilling and
Yep.
hitting the gym stuff. So that's been good.
Mm-hmm. Self care, self improvement. That's right.
Yeah.
But hey, Matt, before we talk about your album, I'm just so curious. How did it come about to you guys thinking, hey, we got to do it all? DJ, sing, produce, all that. Did you guys at first think that it was a little ambitious, or did people kind of tell you that also?
Yeah, I mean, that was like the idea from the beginning. I mean, when we first started, we looked up to people like Calvin Harris, who sang and produced and wrote. And that was kind of our background as well. Like, we didn't start off as DJs, we started off as songwriters and producers. And we just really loved electronic music. So once we started doing that, we started getting gigs and we were like, oh crap, we got to learn how to DJ. Like, we have to learn how to actually like put together a show that works in a club and electronic
Mm-hmm.
show, all that. So so yeah, that was always the original idea. Trevor from the group sings on a lot of our records. He sings on No Promises and he sings on Lean on Me, which is our new single with Tinashe. So, it's that's always something we try to incorporate, but we like to just do what's best for the song. So
Yep.
we don't like to force our voices on anything, but if it works, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that way, what makes cheat codes very special is because you guys just don't box yourselves in like one title. You make it a point that you put your own flair and personality and your style in all of your music.
Yep.
When you were doing all of these, when you were thinking about this route of DJ, producing, singing, creating your music, were you ever told that you were too ambitious? Were you ever told that you were doing too much,
Yeah, I
or did
mean,
that even stop you?
we've been told that like so many times. I remember when we first started and streaming just became a thing. Like Spotify was like brand new. Um, in the beginning we did everything ourselves. So like I designed the logo that like we still use, for example, for cheat codes. We used to make all of our own artwork. We used to mix all of our songs, master, write, record. We did everything. So our original goal was to put out a song every month. And I remember we had a lot of different record executives that worked at labels, and they're like, "Why are you doing that? Like, all these songs are so good. Like, save them. Like, and you could like properly like push them." And we were like, "No, like." We wanted to put out a song every month and we just want to like feed the fan base,
Yeah.
and that's like the pace at which we know we can create, and we know that most people can't do that. Like most artists, they can't do every step of the process, so it's actually very costly for them to even do a song a month. That's like,
Yep.
it's too expensive for them. So we knew that was an advantage that we had as like an independent artist. And we had people telling us that was the wrong way to do it, but that was that was what launched us, and got us like our first couple of viral songs, is because we just, every song kept growing. The next song got a little bit bigger, the next song got a little bit bigger, and then we had a song like Sex, for example, that just went viral. And that wasn't a lot of marketing, or it wasn't like $1 million budget that was pushed behind the song. It was just um, just because people liked the song and they wanted to share it, and it just grew from there.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Your journey has been so inspiring, definitely. But hey, with everything that you guys are doing, you mentioned earlier, you also did the logo and all, but with everything that you guys are doing, when you say cheat codes, what's the first thing that you want people to say?
I just want people to think that if you can just go straight for what you want. So that's the idea of a cheat code. Like you're playing the video game and you're playing GTA and you're like, oh, I don't want to like earn a bunch of money to buy, a rocket launcher. I just want to type in the cheat code, like get the cool weapons right away and just make the game fun.
Eh,
That's how it was for us. Like we were like, instead of we need to do this, or like we need to sign to a label before we put out a song, or we need to like accomplish these things before we play a big festival. Let's just like go straight for what we want,
Yep.
and could accomplish things a lot faster that way. Because I think a lot of people, they're told at an early age, like, do good in school, go to college, do X, Y, and Z, and then you can make money and buy the things that you want or do whatever you want. But if you just go straight for what you really want, like ask those hard questions of like, what do I really want to do with my life, or what do I really want to have in my life, or who do I want to be my friends, or what do I just want a day-to-day life to be like, and start from there. Most people start the opposite way of like, what work do I need to get done so I can like enjoy my life, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think
yeah.
that's really inspiring though, because, especially nowadays in our generation or the generation now, there's so many things that people can be, they can be whatever they want to be, what they can imagine to be. And I think they just need that push, that inspiration to tell them that, no, you can. There are cheat codes in life. So I really appreciate that. I guess we could talk about your debut album, the first part of the three-part debut album. You guys said that you were trying to be productive. I think productive is an understatement, because three albums, I mean, that's crazy. So why did you guys call it your debut album? Why did you call it Hellraisers?
The name was inspired by our manager MT, who unfortunately passed away over a year and a half ago, and he used to call us Hellraisers. And I think the reason he called us that was just because he was a really good manager, and we were very particular on things that we wanted, whether it came to like deals or just trying to make the best like collaborations, or when you're negotiating or whatever. So sometimes people would be pissed off at we would say no to things, or we would ask for more than what they expected or whatever. So he'd always be like, oh, you guys are a bunch of Hellraisers, huh? So that was kind of his nickname for us. And we've always wanted to do an album since the beginning, and we had a lot of people in the industry that were like, people don't really listen to albums anymore, like stick to singles, that's the way to go. And we had a lot of success with singles, so I think we were kind of deterred from doing an album. And he was a guy that believed in us and supported
Yeah.
us in doing the album. So once we started doing it, and then he passed away, we knew we needed to finish it, with him being in mind. So why not dedicate the album to him by using that as an inspiration for the name.
I actually love that name, Hellraiser. Why are we called Hellraisers? We like pissing people off.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Because
but
I think
yeah.
so
Mm,
many people, especially with social media and everything, like
yeah.
they're so worried about what people think. And it's like you should have your team and like your core people around you, your friends, your family, whoever it is. But like, you shouldn't care what an invisible robot on the internet thinks.
Yep.
It was like, I don't care if I'm pissing off some random promoter in Croatia. Like, I don't know that person. Like, this is
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
what I want to do with it. This is the type of project that I want. You know what I'm saying? So, and if they're on your team and you guys all have the same vision, then you guys are gonna make it happen. So that's kind of our mentality.
Yep. That's
I'm
very
curious
awesome.
though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm curious about like the whole Hellraisers thing. I mean, you said that you guys just do your thing. You do what you believe is right. Did you ever think that it was risky to do that? I mean, like a lot of artists nowadays who want to make it, they really try to conform to like what society wants them to be or what the industry wants them to be. Saying whatever. Like what when I was listening to what you were saying, I thought it was pretty risky. Were you guys scared about that moving forward in your career?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of a balance. I mean, you definitely, like, you can't do anything on your own. Like, you need relationships, you need people around you, and you have to be able to identify what everybody's bringing to the table and like be grateful for that. So I'm not saying like just, you know, take advantage of people and like tell them to screw off. I'm not definitely not saying that,
Yeah.
but I'm also saying like if you're just doing what people want you to do, then the art is going to suffer, you know, like you can't
Yep.
just like form to what you think is going to be popular, or you know what somebody thinks is a good strategy because of like an algorithm or like statistically what makes sense. Like sometimes you got to do things that don't make any sense at all just because it's fun, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think if it comes from a good place, like a good like loving place, then I think it's a positive, you know.
Yeah. It's very important also to, take risks and be true to yourself. So that's very inspiring, Matt. Thanks for sharing that. But hey, let's go back to your album. We're just really very happy that you finally have your first album, Hellraisers Part 1. How was the process of like finishing this album? Because obviously, with collabs especially, you have to have constant communication with people. So how challenging was that during this pandemic?
Yeah, you know, luckily we started some of it before the pandemic, so we had a couple of songs like already ready to go. But yeah, it was definitely interesting because we couldn't even really be around each other in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mhm.
We kind of did like a divide and conquer approach. We were doing individual like Zoom sessions and just writing on our own as well. And that's kind of why by the end of it we had like three distinct styles for the album. So
Yeah.
that's another reason why we kind of did three parts. But like, you know, with the Tinashe single, for example, Lean on Me, we sent her a bunch of records just through email, and she kind of just told us which one she liked the most. She gravitated towards Lean on Me because of the message, you know, it's kind of a relatable thing with everybody going through like struggles right now. And
Yep.
she just recorded her vocals at her studio, and we recorded our vocals at ours, and we just kind of
Nice.
edited them together and until it was perfect. So I think that's, you know, more and more common with things today, especially after this whole like year and a half. People got really used to doing things like this over Zoom.
Yeah. I saw
You
in
already
it.
mentioned that
Yeah.
it's sorry.
Go,
Yeah,
Chalo. Go ahead.
no, because I you said that it's becoming common that you guys just send in like beats and stuff like that, and you record in separate areas. Now, do you think that this is something that could be like feasible in the future? You think like
Yeah.
when things are back to normal, would you think about like doing this more, or would you scrap this idea and just go straight to like let's meet in a studio and record?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, especially, you know, music is so global, and, you know, everybody has busy schedules. And, you know, if we want to work with somebody who's on the other side of the planet, then sometimes that makes the most sense versus, you know, buying like a $5,000 plane ticket or something, or,
Yep.
you know, expecting them to. So I think it definitely makes sense, especially for artists. And, you know, not everybody has like a $1 million, you know, major label
Yep.
budget. And I think that's great because I think it just means that you're going to see more unique collaborations and, you know, more great music coming from all kinds of areas of the world, you know. So
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I was just saying earlier that I saw an interview of yours. I think that you said that you actually like doing Zoom meetings like this, because I'm sure a lot of us really don't. What's
Sure.
how why do you like it? Like,
Yeah, it's just the convenience, you know, because
yeah,
I wrote a bunch of songs over Zoom, and it was kind of fun because you'll like do a part, like maybe you'll make a beat or you make like a beat idea, you'll send it through email, they'll like work on some like melodies or whatever, and maybe you're like messing with it while doing that. So some of the ideas we were able to come up with like 2 or 3 times the speed of a normal session, because, you know, it's kind of hard to say like perfect a beat while somebody is like writing like lyrics or melodies over the beat at the same time.
yeah,
But when you have like essentially four separate studios all working together at
yep.
once, then, you know, you can actually get ideas done quicker. You know, some people can't really work that way, but um, from a pure technical standpoint, it's kind of like, wow, this is actually really productive. And you could just
Mhm.
like snacking, you know, or you could just be in
Yeah.
sweatpants.
Yep.
That whole, I don't have to commute. I don't know. There's the convenience factor as well. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Makes sense though. Matt, okay, so the album highlights you mentioned earlier your collab with Tinashe, Lean on Me. I'm sure that's gonna be the anthem of a lot of people, you know. So I can just imagine No Cholo just singing that on top of her lungs when clubs open again. And you know what else? I can really imagine this being a song in like weddings, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just awesome. But what was the idea behind this? Like, was it anything related to the pandemic?
Yeah, I was actually, when everything first locked down, I was kind of like quarantined in my
Yeah.
apartment with my girlfriend, and like we weren't seeing anybody, and we like were afraid to leave the apartment, and people were fighting over toilet paper, and it was kind of like a scary time. Like I wasn't sure, is
Mm-hmm.
someone gonna try to like break in, or like we're all like hustling for just resources. Like you really need people to lean on in those moments. So it definitely was like a message that related to me. So I was like, oh, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this as well. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, we just want like more of an uplifting message as things start to open up, and just we want people to come together more than anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When it came to Lean on Me, was Tinashe really top of mind? Were you really thinking about making a song for Tinashe with Tinashe, or was it something like, was Lean on Me like a song that you guys just trying to try to like pitch to other artists so that you could see who would fit better in that song?
Yeah, I think she was like the first one that we really sent it to, but we had a couple of different ideas, and when Tanasha came up, we were just like, oh, we gotta get her on this album. So like,
Yeah.
let's just send her all the best ideas that we have, and that was kind of the one that she gravitated towards. Um, so yeah, I'm glad it worked out. You never know with like people's schedules and just
Yep.
or their styles. Like I guess they're like, oh, this is like too dancey or it's too poppy. She does like a lot of R&B kind of hip hop stuff. So we're glad that it worked out, and it's kind of like a blend of sounds, like her sound and ours.
Tinashe was definitely a great choice, but you guys have collaborated with such huge names, Matt. Demi Lovato, Liam Payne, Wiz Khalifa, and you've also done remixes with Ed Sheeran and Sam Smith. But are there any more like dream collabs that you can share with us?
Dreams. I was like collaborating with like classic artists because I think like the music fan in me always like just goes crazy. So I think it'd be cool to do something like with Elton John or something, like somebody where you just
Mhm.
add like classic vocal to like a cool modern like club beat, something like that would be cool.
Awesome. Yeah, but how about like artists that are kind of underrated? Do you have anyone in mind? Like maybe, hey, there are a lot of
Mm.
great Filipino artists also.
Oh, if you that you want to recommend, like I definitely will check them out.
Oh, oh, we'll do that for sure. But
and
hey,
then
yeah.
and
Do you
then
have
we'll have to
any?
like
Mhm.
credit you unhooking it up.
Yeah, awesome. All right, but Matt, but we're just so happy that we have more albums and tracks to like wait on. There's Hellraisers Part 2 and 3, and they're gonna be different genres also. Can you tell us about it? Like it's pop, hip hop, and what's the other one?
Yeah, we part two is gonna be more like emo hip hop kind of vibes,
Mm-hmm.
and part three is gonna be kind of more of our typical cheat code sound, like dance and club records. So we wanted to give fans like new sounds that they haven't heard from us, but also like the classic sound as well. So that's kind of the idea.
Awesome. We're
We're so
so
excited to
yep.
really also know more about your personalities individually since you guys worked on the album separately as well. But just to wrap things up, what would you want to say to all your Filipino fans, those who have been listening, supporting Cheat Codes ever
Yep.
since?
What up? It's Cheat Codes. I just want to say thanks to all the Filipino fans who've been supporting us and listened to us over the years. Check out our debut album, Hellraisers Part 1. Part 2 and Part 3 are coming soon. And stay healthy and stay safe out there. We can't wait to come and visit you guys when everything opens up. So much peace and love, guys.